So yeah, it took a few tries. I'll just get rid of the dirt. Dirt and a door, because this matters. So if I were to do /CTR and type in my name, you can see that I can lock it, it has the particle effects, and because you're not on the group, you shouldn't be able to open it. Meanwhile, I can just kind of open it. Oh, I'm still on CTR. If you're on CTR, it does weird things, but I could still open it and go through it, but you wouldn't be able to. It just says it's locked. Same thing goes with this dirt block. I could break this, no problem, because it's my group, but it's going to take you guys 50 breaks to be able to get through it because that's not reinforced. Fantastic. I absolutely love it when demos just don't.
Hello, Kiwi.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, and it gives you the particle effect to indicate that it's still reinforced. So there's two ways to do reinforcement. There's reinforce as you go, which is /CTF, and then there's /CTR, which is you reinforce in post. So if I built this little dirt arch here, and then I grabbed stone in my hand, did /CTR, and then I could whack each of these individual blocks, and it would reinforce it to the group. Now, if I wanted to change its group, I could do /CTR and then the new group, so Genso, and I could go and whack it, and it would say group has been changed to, and then what it gets changed to. So you can also change groups afterwards using CTR. CTF, if I do /CTF, so I can spell today, you can see that I had the stone in my hand as I was typing in the command, and now if I place dirt, it places down to the particle and it's reinforced as I go. This CTF is the thing that is the only sane way to be able to build a house. Like if you go through and reinforce every individual block with CTR after you finish building your house, you're either an absolute mad lad or a professional autist.
Yeah. Plus, you're likely to miss stuff if you just try and click everything afterwards and forget where you've done it.
Yeah, the best way to be able to make sure that an entire building is reinforced is using CTF. Now, say you want to know which group it's on, and you have access to the group, because you're not going to be able to see use CTI on stuff that's not yours. But if you do /CTI and you click it, it'll say which group it's on and if it's hardening. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. As I break it, it says what the whole deal is. So in this chest, I'm going to go ahead and put in some dirt and stone. And you guys can go ahead and test it out a little bit. You guys have made your various dirt structures. They're all reinforced, and you shouldn't be able to really go and mess with each other's stuff. That's Citadel 101. It works for doors, it works for chests, and it also works for snitches. So I'll kind of explain snitches real quick. I don't have any way to be able to demonstrate those. But snitches come in two forms, either using note blocks, full encased redstone dust with wood, standard note block, or a juke box. Same thing, but a diamond in the middle. So juke blocks, they will tell you what actions happened in the area that they're in. So if you have a house with a bunch of chests inside of it, and you want to know if somebody popped your chest and who done it, a juke box is the way that you want to protect your things with that. Note blocks simply tell you entry. Both can be connected to Kira, a neat little API that Max made that plugs into Discord and tells you all sorts of fun stuff. But it's a matter of logging where things are at and how much actions are taken into them. I strongly recommend encasing them in something like obsidian reinforced with diamond or iron. These are referred to as DRO, diamond reinforced obsidian, and IRO, or IRO, for iron reinforced obsidian. These are the things that people will use to protect their stuff and make bunkers most often, because obsidian takes the longest time to break, and those reinforcements, it slows somebody down significantly from being able to mess with your stuff. Encasing them in obsidian will protect your jukes from getting broken. If your jukes or snitches get broken, you no longer get logs from them. Another thing to go over, as smart, they do call over time, so just log in, go into the area. You don't have to click each of them, but you just have to log in, kind of wander around the area. I don't know if they changed it. Snitches keep getting
It takes like a
updated.
couple months to decay, right?
Yeah, they keep
Not like
changing it.
that
It used to be like
quick.
a 6-month decay time, and I think it got nerfed to only 2 months. it's still absurd. Like, if you play regularly, you're never going to have to deal with it. But as tempting as it is to go out and make a bunker somewhere out of obsidian and protect your stuff on the surface, I can't recommend doing that. The best way to protect your stuff, especially as a new friend or somebody who doesn't necessarily have the infrastructure for something big like a vault, which are insane structures, um, drop chesting. You go out into the middle of BFE, you dig down to about stone layer, dig a few underneath stone layer, you put down a chest, you diamond reinforce it, and then you pillar back up with stone up until it goes to about dirt layer, then you just replace the dirt. You mark it on a map or on a piece of paper as to what coordinates you buried this thing at. Unless somebody is x-raying, and even then if they're x-raying because of how far down it is, it gets obfuscated. Now, as Neo said in the local chat, obfuscation is an act of, I'm not sure if you've noticed it, but as you come in and out of render distance for things like chests that I have around town, things like crafting tables, furnaces, they look like a stone texture until you get within a certain distance of them. This is to help counteract people who might use X-ray. If you bury your stuff down far enough and it's surrounded by stone, your chest will obfuscate as stone, and even if they are trying to use X-ray, they're still not going to see your drop chest. Obscurity is the best way to hide your stuff by far. People can break into bunkers. Bunkers get busted into. It causes drama and 6+ month long wars and people yelling at each other. That's fine. Bunkers are great if you're trying to share a lot of things with a lot of people and you still need it to be relatively secure. Drop chests for personal belongings are the safest way to be able to protect your stuff. So that's how to protect your goodies 101. So next we're going to go ahead and get into making factories. So a factory pattern is pretty easy. Put down a chest, put down a crafting table, and you put down a furnace. Alright, so this is a standard shape of a factory. Put some dirt in it. As soon as I get charcoal, furnaces for factories run off of charcoal, and then you whack it with a stick. Dirt with an exclamation mark will not work for the creation of your first factory. Go ahead and just that works.
Yep.
So if you whack it, it says there's no factory with given creation materials. So the first factory, you only need one dirt. Put one dirt here in the corner, put some charcoal in it, and you whack it. It says successfully created dirt factory. So from here, you can upgrade it to whatever it is you want. You can either create dirt with an exclamation mark, not sure why you'd want to do that, but the dirt factory is what you use to make all of these ones. I strongly recommend a basic smelter. Basic smelters are going to be your best friend. Aesthetics factories are going to be your best friend. Ore smelters are pretty essential. And a bakery is pretty good. There's also charcoal makers. Honestly, these are all just good to have. Most cities will have these things, and will have them available to you with the exception to some of the harder to get ones. If you want to know what it takes to be able to make a factory, do /FM and it'll bring up this GUI. Now within the GUI you can go, you can see what the setup is. It says 1 dirt, no charcoal needed to make the dirt factory, but it will require it to run it. You can go into recipes. You see dirt, it would take 2 charcoal for a duration of 2 seconds to make 1 dirt. Honestly, I don't know why you would do this.
You might want to demo with a more useful factory.
I don't know. I think we need some dirt. But it shows you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stacks of smooth stone to make a basic smelter. But basic smelters, you can smelt stone. You get a stack and a half of smooth stone for 1 stack of cobblestone. So you get more than what you're paying for, and within about, I can't do math right now, 8-ish runs of this thing, you'll have made profit. So as long as you are using a ton of stone smelter is going to be something that you want. It also makes netherrack, glass, sandstone. You can see it gives you slightly better ratios than what you'd get in vanilla. Also, pro tip, hardened clay with soft clay, don't do it. There's so many mesas and there's so much terracotta just available on the surface. Soft clay is much better used for farms. So we have a thing called realistic biomes. And if you, I'm going to kind of scroll out on my mini map here. You see farms here. Now, we're in a forest biome, so we get dark oak, birch, regular oak. Spruce does not grow in this biome. Neither does acacia. We have a savanna area for it. So the reason why you get claims of all these big sprawling areas is because different biomes are able to grow different things at different rates. So I think it's only 3 hours for us to grow an oak tree, which is really, really short. But if you were to go into something like a mesa, maybe it's going to take 8 hours. I don't know all the ratios off the top of my head. Generally, if you have a plant in hand and you whack the ground with it, it'll tell you how long it takes. Adina cannot grow oak at all, says Juke Doki. Yeah, different biomes can't grow anything. It's crazy. Wheat grows well in forests. I don't think we can grow carrots. We can up on our mesa though. So some of these areas you might be thinking have really, really long grow times. Wheat, what's wheat in frozen? It like roughly what 3 hours for wheat
Here,
per cycle? Yeah.
I think it's 4 in a forest.
Okay. So if say you wanted it to go faster, you could put layers of clay underneath this. So say I had this is my farm block and I wanted it to have clay underneath it. So if I went and did 1, 2, 3, it would be a ratio faster. So you can make an entire farm like this with soft clay underneath it, and it'll grow pretty quickly. I think the fastest way to be able to, I think the max is 4, but I haven't really tinkered with it. We haven't had a lot of need to. We got pretty lucky with our biomes. They're a little more spread out than we'd like to, but we have everything we need. Chris has requested pearl mechanics and how to not get pearled. Okay, best way to not get pearled is don't be a dick. Um, so in my hand I've got a pearl. No, I'm not gonna kill anybody. Um, don't go to mirror. Don't go to big vaults. Don't go into towns full of people that don't like you. Generally don't kick people's dogs. It's not a nice thing. Don't break into houses. Just mind your manners. Um, the likelihood of getting pearled right out of the gate is very, very, very slim. This might come as a shock to you, but most of the people on the server don't really want to kill you. That's not the point of what they need to do. If they pearl you, it'll be because they're trying to escort you out of an area that you're not supposed to be. And you can generally talk to them. Most folks are pretty reasonable, with the exception of people with mega vaults like Mirror and the HJE, where if you are next to their big 15, 10, whatever it is, vault sized things with rings, they're not going to like that, and they're probably going to get rid of you as a precaution because they're paranoid. Just don't. I don't do vaults for a reason. It's just too much trouble. So if I were to kill one of you guys with this pearl in my hotbar, it would. If any of you guys have played Pokemon, it's kind of like that. So you pearl somebody, they get bound to the pearl that's in your hotbar. It'll say you have been pearled, and the bottom bar you'll get a little stick saying you've been exile pearled. There's 2 types of pearling. So exile pearl means that you can't come within 1,000 blocks of where your pearl is being held, and you can't go into bastion fields you're not a part of without taking damage or I think getting kicked out. I think it's just getting kicked out of it. So being pearled is generally a bad thing. You cannot collect mana, which is what's used to fuel pearls. So if you're pearled, you cannot PvP, you cannot pearl other people. You're basically just relegated to being able to do building farming. You can still play the game. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from going around and interacting with people. You can still collect. Your streak disc gets broken. Not to yell at Ari then, because I don't think he's been collecting where he can. He might not be able to.
I don't think you can.
Yeah, I don't think he can either. So the second type of pearling, you can upgrade somebody's pearl with that's what prison pearling is. So when you're exile pearled, you're still in the overworld, and there's no harm, no foul really, other than the fact that you're inconvenienced and it's irritating. End pearling or prison pearling is when somebody is so dangerous to yourself, or you feel that they're dangerous to yourself, that you put them in the end. The end is shared amongst all prison pearled players, and it's the same end that you get access to if you find one of the end portals. There's a few of them. They're known where they're at. I think there's one down in there's one closer to like 00. I think there's one near Nyasaland and Verda or something like that. And there's one closer to Varconia, one of their islands. I don't know exactly where they're at. They're generally in the vicinity of the central part of the map, but they take you to the same end. If you're end pearled, same things as normal pearling applies, except for you are stuck in the end. You can't get out. You can't leave via the portal. You can't do much, and it's just kind of a really crappy experience. I've actually only been pearled once in my entire how long have I been playing this game now? 3.5 years ish. I don't want to think about it. I was pearled during a raid on my own town. They captured me, and then after they were done raiding, they just kind of left me to despawn on the ground. It's because they didn't want me trying to kill them because they were breaking my E-Legos. That's the only time I've ever been pearled. I haven't made anybody mad enough to come into my town and kill me for realsies. So, teaching how to make diamond factories. Factories, going back to that briefly, if you do /fm, you can go through the GUI recipes. You can see all these different factories here. If you click on one of them, it tells you what it takes to make it, and then you need 20 diamonds and you make all these shoes. Diamond factories are expensive. If you want to do the one that's probably the most useful to you, though, is going to be the ore smelter. Ore smelter is 8 stacks of coal, 4 stacks of iron, and a stack of diamonds, and it just gives you so much better ratios to be able to get things like 16 diamond ore for 48 diamonds is a better return than if you're using Fortune 3. That being said, Silk Touch is going to be a pick that you're going to want to get at some point. If you find diamonds and you're in a nation and you're a new friend, the best thing you can do is ask somebody who's experienced in your town to come and help you out. They'll probably have access to a Silk Touch pick, and they can help you get those better ratios. Picking a group on the server, there are so many different groups. There's groups like MTA, Commonwealth, Gensokyo, Verda's recently back, Nyasaland, even Icenia. There's shoot, what other ones are there? Uatl, Mir, don't go there. They don't like visitors. Just don't. Picking a group is the group that you play with here. It's the first thing that people know about you. Oh, you're such and such and you're from this location. That's how they identify you as. So picking your group is probably one of the most important decisions that you'll make in Civ, and I can't stress how important it is for you to pick the one that fits you. Don't worry about people advertising to you. Don't worry about people shouting, saying, oh my god, go here, pick me, pick me, pick me. People are always going to do that because they think that the group that they're in is the best. And it might be the best for them. That's not really your decision to make for them. At the end of the day, it is far better for the server and the server's health that you find a group that you fit in with, even if it's not with us. It's not going to hurt my feelings if I've taken the time to sit here and teach you factories and all this stuff, and you just don't hang out here. That's fine. I get it. It's not for everybody. It's far better that we're all playing the same server and actually enjoying ourselves and having a good time than us all being in one big monoculture. That's not healthy. So, as much as I rant and rave about some groups that I don't care as much for as others, I don't mean it. I'm not going to do anything. Let's be real here. I just build this thing on my mini-map. I'm not even done with my big garden, and I'm still going to be connecting all of this stuff and making roads out here, and yeah, it's getting out of hand. I get not everybody wants to be a builder. Not everybody wants to be a farmer. Some people want to go PvP. Some people want to go left-click children and yell at each other. The important thing is you find the group that fits best for you. Go on the subreddit, do your research, type in the whichever group you're considering's name, look into some of the people that are part of it. How do they interact with others? How do they treat others? How do they treat each other within their own group? Okay, fully grown men. Fair enough.
Man, children.
Man, children, actual children. Left clicking other players. Some people like to left click, some people like to right click. The important thing is when you're going into another group after you've decided which group is going to be your main one, if you're traveling to, say, Commonwealth for sightseeing, they're going to know that you're from a certain area and maybe you're like those people because groups of people, kind of like lunch tables at high school, tend to group together. You've got all the band geeks at one table, all of the filthy weeaboos at another table, and all of the jocks at one table. It's not People like to be around other folks that have similar interests to them, and there's nothing wrong with that. Pick the group that fits you. Don't worry about everybody screaming and telling you which group to join. That's not their decision to make. That's your choice. Brewery is a lot of fun. I have a brewery place here in Genso if you'd like to tinker with it. I'm not going to go into explaining how to use it. There's so much, and there's documentation for it on the wiki on how to get into brewery. Brewery is it's just good, clean fun. Honestly, you make alcohol, you can make coffee, you can do things. You can make tea, cocoa. There's a drink called Gensakeo. There's also things like Concordia cordial or something like that. It's a type of wine. There's most of the
There's a lot
groups.
of brews.
Yeah, there's a lot of brews. Like, I think
People
there's
have discovered like
70.
hundreds. I forget what the actual list is, but there's just
I know there's
tons.
70 that are on the public list, but there's a bunch of other ones that are left for discovery. It's a lot of guessing and checking, and it's if you like science and you like tinkering with stuff, that's fun. There is sake. Gensakeo is actually made with light gray dye because I guess that's just what rice looks like. Don't worry about it,
Wait,
it's
did they
fine.
change it?
Yeah,
It used to
we're.
be paper.
Oh no, we're paper. Light gray dye is how you make another type. I'm not gonna say quantities, but there's your hint. Congratulations, you know now how to make. There's more than one type of sake. We had it as our official drink for the Olympics. It was like 3 different types of sake. I left one in the barrel overnight. So 20 minutes in barrel aging is about a year. There's going to be a lot of AFKing for it. And I might have left some Gensakeo in a barrel overnight, and I came back, it was like 500-year-old sake. The kind of stuff you drink it and go blind. They do have potion effects. If you're getting in a brewery, I highly recommend having access to a cow with milk because not only are you going to need milk for some of the brews, but you're gonna want to not die.
As a former brewer, I can say it's definitely something that a lot of people can get into. I'm not sure if there's like a giant market for it. It's kind of a niche thing. Although there are some brews that can actually give you like status effects that I know people will be willing to pay for. Yeah, it's not. Well, it's not like I wouldn't say it's much the role play because you still discover like things with meaningful status effects and stuff. It's typically like less efficient than just making potions and stuff if you're looking for status effects, but it is something that's unique and you can get into. And honestly, like most of the drinks aren't public knowledge, and so you can discover recipes for yourself and stuff like that. And whether I would say whether it's worth it is just whether it's worthwhile to you. I'm not sure what you're looking for when you're going into brewing. If it's profit, then that's going to be really difficult unless you're a great brewer to make. But if it's the novelty or the knowledge, or just maybe you just really like the mechanics, then there's nothing wrong with getting into brewing.
Yeah. Okay, so best way to make money and trade with others. And EXP and Enchanted Tools and Arbor is probably the easiest way to do it, but it requires a large group to do it. Genso actually does have a fairly decent EXP profit margin. That being said, for a new friend, the best way you can do is find the area that you're in, find a niche market, and either help people be able to transport goods and take a cut of what they're trading. Some people will work out deals with you because going across the map is something that not everybody wants to do, and Rails is just a lot of AFK and monotonous stuff, even labor. Again, so the way we do it is all of our projects are volunteer basis. We have a big schematics library. We just kind of go and do things as a group. So in terms of making straight profit, that's not really going to be something that we do a whole lot of. We do have plenty of shop areas. We are in a fairly centralized location. If you guys wanted to get into making enchanted tool shops, we would gladly help you learn how to do it.
I will
Not
say
that we
that
would
if you're
ignore it.
looking to make money and trade and stuff, or just produce anything on this freaking server, and you're just starting out, honestly, trading, not like traveling and exchanging goods and stuff with other people, but just getting people to like buy tools and use their factories, or get sort of rates that aren't factory rates but still better than vanilla. Don't be afraid to ask other people for help, or ask around if someone owns a factory, because there's not really a reason that like that will just serve you. That'll save you time and money to just go and get those rates before. So maybe someone will give you 2 diamonds for every diamond ore, assuming you don't own an ore factory. Well, that's still going to get you to owning more diamonds quicker than if you
Just grind it out and got
wanted
your
to just
own.
grind out an ore factory. Yeah.
Economies are nuanced things. Different locations have different rates for stuff. There's the MTA. MTA has a mall Mount Augusta. We have a rail to them from Roe via Bloom. There's also a 00 line that'll connect up to them. We have that also based out of Roe Island. Icenia's got a small mall. Varconia's town in Gabon has a marketplace as well. Bloom has some marketplaces. Caledonia has a mall apparently. Shopside and the Commonwealth exists. So there are a lot of other places. It's okay. We don't judge. It's not about the size of your mall, it's how you use it. Our mom taught us not to be afraid of our small marketplace. So you can set up shops. We have this one here. This is bread for iron. Basically, you put iron in your hand and you whack it. It'll tell you how much exchanges are available. You click it, or I can't because I own it. You put in iron and it gives you bread. That's how it works.
Yeah, I think if you left click the shop, it should show you the rates.
/IEC.
IEC, there it is. /IEC, and it'll tell you how to make exchanges. You should just be able to right click the actual box itself. Yeah. No, yeah, you left click it with the thing and it says successful exchange. So it just takes your iron and it says exchange. I mean, you can obviously pop them. That would break my heart. Please don't. This is literally just a box full of bread and some iron. It's not worth it. But that's the principles of doing it. Once you get an IEC, it'll show you that. So you'll make it. It'll get you have the exchange thing, the thing that you want to exchange for. So what they input and then what it outputs. So 32 bread in this instance. Once you do it, it doesn't actually have to have stuff in it. It'll make these two buttons. That's what actually runs IEC. So that's.
You can make the buttons separately.
Yeah, you can.
And
Yeah, you
have
can
a
also
lot
sell brews now. So if you wanted to get into brewery and set up a bar and encourage rampant alcoholism, which I strongly think is a good idea, we have some bars in Toutsy that need things set up inside of them, and I am okay with this.